Today we're talking to people from the Croydon Horticultural Society and Garden Club. And today I've got Lorna Nardella with me at the start. Now, you're a member of the club and also on the committee, I presume?
Yes, I'm lucky enough to be vice president of the club, and it is a wonderful club, and it makes everybody informed on what is going in the garden, what is growing in the garden, and what to do in the garden. We just meet and have a nice supper afterwards. We have guest speakers from various persuasions, succulents or whatever, and we're learning. Doesn't matter how long you've been in the garden, you can still learn.
Without a doubt, and because there's so many garden shows on TV too, that there must be millions of people interested in what you have to say, and because they're interested in gardens.
I think so, yes, because as I just said, you can always learn. Doesn't matter how good you think you are, someone will come up with a newer idea, a newer product to use, and that's where we learn at the garden club. We learn all these things because someone else has tried a new way of doing something and found it's worked, so we can all learn.
And if you're retired and you think, oh, I haven't got anything to do much, then just get a garden, because there's always something you can do in a garden.
Oh, there certainly is, even if it's only to sweep up the leaves at autumn. Yes, no, there is always something to do in the garden. There's always a bit of pruning, a bit of lopping, and then you chop it all up and put it in your garden bin. And it's terrific. At the end of the day, you look out in the garden, you think, well, that was worthwhile.
Yeah, you feel good at the end of the day, without a doubt.
That is right, you certainly do.
Now, and look what I've got in my hand here, a pair of secateurs. That's the gardener's right or left hand, isn't it?
Most assuredly. You don't go out with your secateurs in the boot, because you never know when you might see that nice little piece hanging over a fence. It's got
to be over the fence, because it's legal then, isn't it?
I think so, because you're keeping the community safe, aren't you, by lopping it off?
Well, for sure, but it is legal because it is in community property then.
Exactly, yes.
Now, I've got a pair of secateurs similar to these.
Yes.
And I've got a lemon tree that got that gall wasp.
Oh dear, yes.
That's a shocker, isn't it?
It most certainly is, but we all get it.
They're tiny, aren't they?
Yes.
They seem to be, because there's little holes that are pinhead.
Well, if the holes are there, that means, I think, that they've gone.
Oh, right. Okay.
So, too late to do anything then.
So I got my secateurs out and I took it back to almost a twig. Well, a bit bigger than a twig. But it's now 2 years and they're just starting to get lemons again. Good.
That's very good. Yeah. Have you got any more gall wasp?
I have from time to time, and I've looked and got rid of it, but, I'll never get rid of it forever, will I?
No, you won't. And there are various things out now. Carol and John will be able to fill you in better with those things you can use to not prevent gall wasp, as you can't, to help the tree manage it, I think would be the best way to put it, without cutting everything off. Yeah. Because if you go to cut everything off, you won't have much lemon tree left, will you?
No, well, I didn't. No, because the whole thing was infested. It was everywhere.
It's a shocker, isn't it?
Does that affect the quality of the lemons at any time?
Not to my knowledge, no. No, it doesn't. And it may prevent the quantity, but I don't think so. So. I've got some gall wasp on mine too, and I get plenty of lemons. And my next door neighbours love my lemon tree.
Well, I've always got some fans when the lemons are fruiting, and my daughter, she just takes as many as I can give her.
They do, don't they? And lemons are so versatile. You can do so much with a lemon. Yeah. Beautiful. Even if you just cut it up and put it in the refrigerator to freshen the fridge up.
Yeah, good idea. I hadn't thought of that one.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yes, it seems to absorb any odours. That's what I find anyhow. Yeah.
And I've also got my handy secateurs to, I've got a cherry plum tree.
Oh, yes. Oh,
So
my
every
goodness.
year I've got to prune it
Yes,
because the fruit comes on last year's growth.
that's right.
So you can't cut off all last year's growth because you won't get any.
No.
So I take it back to a fair bit, but eventually it does get out of hand because you have to keep a bit of last year's growth on.
Exactly.
What's the procedure there?
Well, you just have to go for it. Cut half at a time, and you've still got growth on the other half.
Yeah.
But that's how I do it. Look, I'm not a professional gardener,
No.
but I love my garden, and I'm always ready to learn from John and Carol because they're more expert than I
They're
am.
coming on after you.
That is right. And
Now, before we say goodbye, tell me what happens at a club meeting.
well, we're all welcomed in there. We sign in and we sit down on our chairs, and the president tells us what's been going on during the month and things that we're going to go to. We can. She tells us if we've got little trips we can go on, and then she introduces our speaker,
Okay.
and he'll speak or she will speak, and demonstrate whatever they've got.
And they're experts in their
Oh,
field.
definitely, yes, and answer any questions that we can answer. And quite often they have things for sale, and after they've all finished, we have a raffle, and then we have supper.
Sounds like a pretty...
Show bench. I'm very sorry.
there's a
Carol.
show bench,
We have a
which-
show bench, and each of us can bring something out of the garden. It doesn't have to be perfect, just something of interest.
All right. So this is sort of been explained. This
front.
is like a bit of a show bench here.
Definitely is. Yes, they may not be prize-winning things, but they're things that are in our gardens, things of interest, things we like.
All right. So if you're proud of something, you bring it along and show everyone. That's what it's called.
Too right. That's the whole name of the game. Yes.
Okay.
To share with others.
Yeah. So you're the Croydon Horticultural Society and Garden Club. That's a long name, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's a good club to be in.
By gee, it is. A lot of friends, a lot of lovely people.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a terrific thing to be in.
All right. Okay. We'll go to the break now. Thanks very much for coming along and talking to us today, Lorna Nadella.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Okay, from the Croydon Garden Club.